Everybody is entitled to their own opinions. Everyone can think what they want to think. But look, I'm going to be as honest as I can in this video. NoFap changed my life completely, forever. I remember I was struggling with pornography, masturbation. I was procrastinating, I was lazy, I had no motivation. I was always tired all of the time with no drive or ambition to do absolutely anything. And then I discovered NoFap. And I was like, so there are other men out there who are experiencing what I'm experiencing, and that's they can't stop watching pornography and they can't stop masturbating. So at least I'm not the only one. And then I actually tried it. And I had such a burst of energy in the first week. I was like, it was like a light bulb went on in my head. I'd realized that I was so tired, so lethargic, feeling lazy and unmotivated all of the time because I was wasting my seed, my life force energy by masturbating to pornography. That's when I began to see the self-destructive side of doing such things. And I realized that if I can master NoFap, I will provide myself with all the energy that I need to do everything that I want to do. And so I did that. And it was difficult and it was hard and it was challenging, and I relapsed over and over and over again. Boy, I couldn't tell you how many times I relapsed. I went back and forth, back to the porn, back to NoFap, back to the porn, back to NoFap, but eventually I got myself out of the rut. Look, I'll be honest. If you're on NoFap or semen retention, then I want you to know one thing, especially if you have suffered from watching pornography and masturbation since early stages of your manhood, then understand that it's going to take time. But if you can give yourself that time, then it's going to turn into gold. Many of us beat ourselves up when we relapse, right? We think, oh no, I can't do this. This is so hard. This is so difficult. This is so challenging. I can't do this. I can't do that. Look, the beauty of NoFap and why it's so underrated is that it's a form of self-discipline. You are teaching yourself, you are shaping yourself, you are forming the person that you want to be. So as men, we have visions, we have goals, we picture ourselves and we picture what our lives might look like if we do certain things, if we go down a certain path, right? So when we are on NoFap, we are picturing this porn and masturbation free dude who has all this energy, all this motivation, and he does whatever he wants to do because he's freed himself from a terrible vice. Well, that's the truth. But give yourself time. If you know yourself and you trust yourself and you can see light at the end of the tunnel and you know that you are going to one day overcome the addiction, then eventually that will happen. Eventually that reality will manifest itself. However, you have to believe, you have to know, you have to want to free yourself from the addiction to porn and masturbation. Many people talk about their addictions and their vices, but at the same time, they give themselves excuses to continue doing self-destructive things. I remember when I first started NoFap and I was constantly relapsing, I'd tell myself, well, I've had a bad day, so, now I need a release. Or I've just had an argument with this person, now I'm gonna go watch porn and masturbate. I would constantly give myself an excuse to relapse. I would tell myself it's gonna be the last time that I ever do it, and from then on I'm gonna be porn and fat free, and then I just relapse over and over again. You have to want to break free from the addiction. You have to realize how destructive it is first. And once you know the self-destructive elements of porn and masturbation, then you will definitely want to free yourself from the vice. Begin to study things like semen retention. That's been around for thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. Understand the detrimental effects of pornography on the brain. You can research these things. Neuroscientists are releasing a load of information these days that is informing men of the difficulties and the problems that we face because of the access to pornography and masturbation that is rife across the planet here in our day and age. You have to know and understand the negative impacts of pornography and masturbation on your life before you eventually free yourself from it. So once again, those of you who are addicted to porn and masturbation, those of you who are unsuccessful with your NoFap journeys and NoFap attempts, I would argue that you don't fully understand the detrimental impacts, the negative effects that it has on your life. Because if you did, you would never want to watch a single pornography movie ever again. You would never even think or comprehend the concept of masturbation. And that's a fact. NoFap is underrated because it's a form of self-discipline. You are sculpting yourself. Imagine you have been given a plot of clay, and this plot of clay is sat in your garden, and you are sculpting it. You are shaping yourself. You probably imagine yourself to be quite muscular, quite toned, in good shape, quite masculine looking, right? You might sculpt yourself in a powerful stance, whatever that may look like. If you are on NoFap, you have to force yourself to stop doing something that is extremely pleasurable, and you have to do something that is more difficult than you would want it to be. More difficult than necessary, right? So for example, if you're thinking about relapsing, instead of pulling out your phone and relapsing, you get up and go for a walk. You do something more productive. You do other things to take your mind off the concept of pornography and masturbation. Well, that is difficult to do. But what you are doing is sculpting yourself. You are teaching yourself the art of self-discipline. So why I think NoFap is underrated, and so underrated, is because if you can force yourself to stop doing something that is so pleasurable, then what else can you do? You simply open up the doors to a magnificent reality that you can do anything you ever wish. You can manifest anything you desire. If you can stop doing something like masturbating to pornography, which I know how hard it is, then you can do anything. Use the NoFap concept, use the art of semen retention to build a foundation, to build a base for self-discipline, a base for mastering your life and yourself, a base for building your reality, right? A base for the sculpture, for the art that you are doing on yourself as an individual. Once you master NoFap and semen retention, not even semen retention, let's just talk about NoFap. Once you master NoFap, then you will master anything that you want to master, because you have forced yourself to be disciplined in something that is very difficult to do. So actually, if you think about it, right, and if we're going to go really philosophical in this video, if we're going to go deep into the mind, pornography and masturbation is a blessing. Not because you can use it to pleasure yourself, but because you can use it to teach yourself the art of discipline. And if you can master NoFap and be disciplined in the art of NoFap, then you can pretty much do anything that you want to do. If you're somebody who is constantly relapsing, you're finding it hard to refrain from PMO, then continue going. Keep pushing forward, never stop. Keep your eyes on the light at the end of that tunnel. Why? Because there will be a time, there will be a day where you eventually never want to watch pornography or masturbate again. But once that day arrives, you will be a completely different person. The sculpture that you were creating of yourself will be complete, and it will be divine, it will be masculine, and it will be special. Divine Masculine Tantra. I hope to see you on the next one.